man? What it do, man?
Another edition ready to do the work, baby. Let's
I'm
go.
holding up my blackout jersey, bro. It's a black number 10 jersey with a post-it note that says Jones, Mac Jones instead of Garoppolo. I
Mac
figured
10, baby. Let's go.
when you peep the playback, I think you'll like that shit. But I didn't even, I was never that big of a Garoppolo fan. I was like, he's super mid. He's all right. But I got that jersey on the jug. It was like $25. I was like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
buy a brand new jersey for $25.
And it's a blackout jersey, so you can't turn that down.
Nah, absolutely not. I got one of the. I got like I was in. I want to say like circa 2000 2014. I was just in this mode where I was just like looking for jerseys, and I was able to pick up like a on the field Patrick Bowman jersey, and I got it for like I want to say like less than $60. I got it for like super
That's
cheap. I
pretty
was like,
good.
wow. Anyway, welcome to the show. How's it doing, man? Happy New Year to you, my dude.
Happy New Year to you, Sir Douche.
Oh
Too
yeah.
dope. Yes.
Hope you had a good holidays. Hope you got to
Oh
watch a
yeah, it
lot of
was chill.
football. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it was pretty chill, man. Didn't really do much, but welcomed the new year with some good intentions and vibes and celebrations. So all's well on this side of the Bay Area.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear it. So yeah, we're
What
gonna start
about
off the
you?
week with the Seahawks and Panthers. You want to start us off, or you want me to go?
I'll be down to start.
All right.
So we had interconference, not an interconference, but an inner conference matchup with the Seahawks and Panthers of the NFC. And this game was a bit slow to start off, to be honest. I mean, first quarter, almost no offensive movement for the Carolina Panthers. They were even stopped on fourth down uh, in the second quarter. They didn't end up scoring their first field goal um, after getting a turnover in the second quarter. So the Panthers wasn't really doing much offensively in the first half, and neither was Seattle. I mean, both teams only to muster, you know, 3 points up until midway through the second quarter is pretty lackluster. I just think honestly, it probably took both offenses some time to get their gears going. I know Seattle was definitely struggling against the Panthers defense at first. Couldn't really run the ball, couldn't even convert on third down.
Yeah,
Um,
Seattle's defense
and
got
then
quite a few turnovers. I'm
yeah,
sorry, but
and
so did Carolina.
Carolina, Darnold had a second quarter fumble. I believe he was strip sacked.
Hmm.
And then Seattle also was able to get a turnover also, but that didn't. The turnover machine for the Carolina Panthers didn't show its ugly face until the third quarter when they were tied 3-3. Hubbard, I believe, in their first drive in the third quarter, fumbled,
Yeah.
which Seattle took that turnover, and Charbonnet ran a touchdown, a nice lengthy touchdown. I'll get into a little bit of that of why I feel like Charbonnet is the best running back for Seattle right about now. And then the absolute next drive of the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young throws man, the interception he threw, I don't know what he was seeing. Maybe he was on a different page than his wide receiver, but he threw it right to the cornerback. Corner was playing zone, looked like it was a cover two, and he threw it right into the flat where the corner was sitting. And so Seattle took that interception, and their tight end Barner caught a TD pass, and now they're up 17-3. Um, it wasn't a it wasn't until this drive in the fourth quarter. Um, Carolina up to that point was 0 for 8 on third down conversion. So literally every third down up until that point, they could not convert. Hence why, they were only able to muster 3 points up until then. But finally, Bryce Young scrambles for a nice run inside the red zone. And then
Yeah, I like that one.
Charbonnet, huh? What was that?
That Bryce Young touchdown, I like that one.
Yeah, I do too. Unfortunately, it came a little too late because Charbonnet runs in for another touchdown. I believe that was the drive after Carolina scored. And then Bryce Young got sacked on third down, which turned it into fourth and long on the following drive. And of course, they couldn't convert. So um, that that was the end of Carolina. Lackluster offense. All year long, I've seen them struggle with flow and rhythm offensively. I don't know if it's their coordinator or their head coach, but it seems like there's always some desync between what works for Bryce Young and what the coordinator or the head coach wants to call. And I wanted to add a little bit to that because they scored their touchdown with Bryce Young scrambling. And I feel like Bryce Young's the type of quarterback I mean, he's already short, so you don't want him standing in a pocket, trying to peek and get quick glimpses of his targets when pretty much everybody's going to be taller in front of him. You want to roll him out, you want to open up his vision cone, and you want to make him a little bit more comfortable and give him some options. He doesn't have a lot of options standing in that pocket except get rid of the ball, and he's not one. I would even suggest that it's possible he's been told not to run. So
I hope not.
it's it's it's,
It's one
it's
of
a
his
little
better
bit of
qualities. He's
desync,
a good running the ball.
and it strengthens their offense. It makes their offense much more of a threat because now the defensive line can't rush the same way. And I'll talk about how that changes what a running quarterback can do when it comes to rolling out to the left and rolling out to the right. But I'll save that for our next game recap. But
Okay.
Seattle,
A
what
little
what
look
I
ahead.
noticed is
A little teaser. I
yeah,
like it.
little teasers. But what I noticed is that Seattle's defense, their DBs are still their weakness. Their front four is where they're getting most of the defensive help from. Um, they do really good on shutting down run lanes and collapsing the holes that may appear early on in the run play. But offensively, if not still, during up until this game against the Carolina Panthers, the Seattle Seahawks offense was the worst third down conversion team in the league. So what's a good strategy to stopping Seattle's offense? Get them into third down.
Hmm.
Force Darnold to have to rise to certain levels of play, and he would have to do it. But I have noticed that Seattle does run the ball quite often on third down, even on third and long. So that might be something that they've added to their bag to help balance and take some of the pressure off of Darnold, and also catch some defenses off guard with that. Um, but again, Seattle only won this game because of back-to-back turnovers by the
Hmm.
Carolina Panthers. I mean, the Hubbard fumble in the third quarter, which probably stopped any initial adjustment momentum that could have, benefited the Carolina Panthers, and then that young INT following that. I mean, it just further, stalled Carolina's offense from getting anything going sooner. So that's how I saw that game, and Seahawks come out on top 27-10.
I saw a lot of the same, man. it was kind of a trip because I try to get my first impressions of the games. I try to write that down and integrate them into my notes because I try to watch the games maybe twice, do the game recap just so I can get like a better feel for it. But like I kept seeing like JSN, bro. He keeps getting receptions. This dude was catching the ball everywhere, and in my opinion, Charbonnet is a little bit of a touchdown vulture for fantasy football because he was still in the, he was still in touchdowns from everybody. But I did like the Panthers defense in the first half. I thought they were good at covering, and I thought they were really good at getting pressure on the quarterback, but they're just inconsistent. Um, but yeah, they got that loose ball recovery. That one was by the Panthers, and then they got the ricochet interception. That was another one, another turnover for the Panthers. And then there was some buttery fingers going on the field. Derek Brown, he lost it, but he almost caught it. But it turned out that that wasn't a turnover. But I watched that play and I was just kind of like, I was just laughing because I was thinking to
Nice.
myself, is it Seattle's defense playing down to the Panthers in the first half? Because Seattle's defense looked really good in the second half. Like they got a bunch of turnovers and they were making plays. And so I was trying to
Exactly.
figure it out because I also it looked like the Panthers defense in the first half was well adjusted. Um, but some more of the things that I saw, I think they were tied at the second half with 3 points each, and then Carolina got an interception in the end zone for a touchback. Seattle defense came back to recover it in the red zone, and then again, Charbonnet vultured in, grabbed that touchdown. But Seattle really found its groove in the second half. They made some adjustments. They set up. What is it? Right there. They set up the offense for a touchdown. Bryce Young, like I said earlier, he had a nice little run. Um, Seattle got bailed out by a poorly timed face mask. It resulted in a field goal. By that time, the game was kind of getting away from everybody. Uh, so it's now like 20-10. Seahawks take control of the clock. They run it. Charbonnet gets another touchdown. Game ends 27-10. It looked a little sloppy in the first half. Seattle's defense played well all game, but they really turned on in the second half, and that's kind of the thing that stood out to me. I was not a fan of Sam Darnold's play this game. I felt like he played really poorly, and the offense really didn't do a lot. They took advantage of every situation the defense gave them, though. I'll say that. But looking ahead, um, the Panthers are going to be playing the Buccaneers, and they could really play spoiler to the Bucks if they can get the win. And so I think they might even take their wild card spot if I'm not correct.
Winner wins the division.
It wins the division, right? And
This
that's
is for all the marbles.
what's your thoughts on Carolina and Tampa Bay?
Well, Tampa Bay, I mean, you lose to Ewers. Was it Ewers in Miami? Like the former Texas quarterback who who stiff armed the Manning prodigy child from taking his starting spot in Texas? Yes, Bucks definitely are on the decline. I mean, early you think about early season, they were favorites and you know, Baker Mayfield was getting MVP chance and
Mm-hmm.
now he can barely, hold his arm up because his shoulder is hurting and he's very inaccurate. He's looking like old Baker. I don't know if this is a confidence issue. Um, their defense is not looking like a Todd Bowles led defense. Even he would say it's the execution of the team and or the lack thereof is their problem. So it could be that they're just in a funk, man. It could be that they they don't they don't see it within themselves to do it. And this is one of those games where, I mean, there's been times where Carolina has not looked like a 500 team this season. And then there's been games that they've looked like a 500 team. So
Yeah.
this is the moment where they can decide what they are. Are they a playoff team? Are they a below 500 team? And I feel like they have the guys on the team to do it, but it all relies on the coaching staff. Because if they're not using Bryce Young and all his strengths, they're crippling him.
Hmm.
And so if they're going to cripple him, we've seen how he performs when he's crippled. Interceptions, turnovers, he holds the ball, he gets sacked. He basically strengthens the other defense's pass rush. And so that's going to be the most important thing I see with this game is can Carolina's offense be cohesive and be in sync to utilize Bryce Young's strengths because it's going to all rely on him. They can run it, with Dottle and um, whoever else they got, but it's going to rely a lot on Bryce Young.
Well, and I'd like to see them do a little bit more run. A lot of the quarterbacks right now that are really succeeding in the NFL have a little bit of legs to them, and that kind of leads us into the next game. We have the Seahawks playing the 49ers, but before we talk about that game, we want to talk about the game that just happened. That's Chicago at San Francisco, or Santa Clara, we could say. And yeah, wow, a lot of people talking about this one as the game of the week.
Yeah, I'd say game of the year, if not. I mean, I can't recall a more shootout esque type game all season.
For real. One thing I want to start off with, big old sad face on my notes. Trent Williams was hurt and out for the game. Actually resulted in a sack later because dude was left eye was left wide open. But anyway, game starts off with a pick six. Like, oof, what a way to start a game. Pick six, ran it back. Anyway, the Niners get the ball back. Um, After they had received the kickoff in the first half, and then they went down the field. Purdy spread the ball around really well, got everybody involved, got the touchdown, and then the game kind of went a little bit back and forth. Jair Brown had a really nice block on a pass to set up a 49er drive. So there was a 43-yard run by CMC. That was real nice. Um, what's up? Even Robinson, he broke off a run for like 15, and then Purdy ran it in, go up 14 to 7. Chicago could not stop anything on defense after the pick six. I felt like Chicago let a lot of stuff go, and so did the 49ers defense. The 49ers defense was not good at all. Um, they gave up a lot of they gave up a really big pass touchdown, and then to tie the game. But the 49ers, again, they started to run the 21 personnel when they were on the goal line, got another touchdown with CMC. You could see the lead blocker out there was check, and then it was a thing of beauty if you like running football. They went up 21-14, but Caleb Williams he gets a touchdown on a free play to tie the game at 21. And after that, Niners get the ball. Pearsall has a big play on fourth down. Gets them close. Then Purdy runs it in. Um, so while the 49ers D looked horrible, they did, uh, you know, how can I say this? They did like contain on some of the longer plays. And they did give up a lot underneath. Um, on the defense, Swift ran it in for a pretty long running touchdown to make it a 28 all. After that, Kendrick Bourne had a big play. Um, Purdy had another one where he shook two people. He shook two defenders and then did a nice little floater right to Juice. That one was real nice. But on the Chicago side, Burden was blowing up. If he had Burden on fantasy this week, whew, he probably got a lot of good points. And then Swift had a second running touchdown. It was also a long run to start off the fourth, and it was like I want to say it was they were tied at 35 at that point. Chicago then drives for a field goal, and they go up 38-35. Then we have a big play, Jawan for a touchdown, makes it 42-38. After that, with 2 minutes left, you see Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears just going down the field, making these plays, getting the third down conversions and shit. They played well. Gets them all the way to the 2 yard line with 6 seconds left. And then at that moment, the 49ers defense actually made a pretty good play where they only rushed two or three, I believe. And they had enough people back in coverage to just contain Caleb, and he had nowhere to go. Ultimately, clock ran out, throws the ball, incomplete. Niners win the game. Um, Great play. I felt like that was just the offensive shootout. Every team brought everything they had in their offensive bag. That everybody was looking for big plays. Everybody got the ball on the 49ers. Pearsall 8, Bourne 8, Jawan Jennings 8. Robinson had a couple good runs. CMC of course did his thing. It was a beautiful game. How do you see it?
It was talk about shootout, electrifying. I mean, it wasn't like, bomb here, bomb there, but this was a well game planned, offensive, coordinated game.
Yeah,
And what I
lots of
mean by
speed
that is
drives on both sides.
both both offensive coordinators, I mean both offenses are ran by head coaches who are offensive minded. So with that being said, each coach's game plan for how they wanted to attack the opposite defense worked. I mean, you would almost say flawlessly. I mean, 49ers threw a pick six in the beginning of the game, and Chicago didn't turn the ball over. Chicago, I believe, only got stopped possibly 2 to 3 drives all game. It might have been three, including that last drive, but that was the difference. It was only 3 stops because they got a field goal on one of I mean, you can call it a defensive stop because the 49ers stopped them from scoring, but up until that field goal point, 49ers couldn't stop Chicago. And these are long, meticulous, sustained drives. And two things that make me a little bit worried about San Francisco's defense.
What's that?
One, they're a zone dominant defense. So in scenarios where they can't get a 4-man pass rush, they have to bring extra. And if they bring extra, then it's man. And their only strategy in that scenario is either A, get to the quarterback by some miracle, whoever is going to get there,
Yeah.
which all season we usually don't see that happen, or B, hope that the quarterback makes a mistake or somebody makes a mistake and in his hot read of getting the ball out of his hands, that's where the mistake happens. But again, it's a lot of hope and wishing in order for that scenario to be beneficial for San Francisco. And then the second thing is when San Francisco is going against a possible mobile threat, and sometimes they'll call zone blitzes, but they'll have their ends play almost like flat zone coverage, and I hate that so much because how often do you see a defensive end floating out into zone coverage getting an interception?
Not often.
It's
Not
exactly.
often
So you
enough,
you
but
you
I
literally
feel like that's
you
part of the
literally taking.
defensive strategy of the bend don't break. Like give up underneath and maybe I don't know, man. It's hard to call it.
No, no, but I get what you're saying, but I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. If you take your pass rushers off the end and make them cover the flat where a tight end can leak out or the running back is leaking towards, that's that doesn't help. If you're taking your middle linebackers or a safety and you're blitzing them down the middle or you're replacing those edge spots with one of those blitzers, who do you think is the best pass rusher in that scenario? It's going to be the ends. So
Yeah.
why are you
Okay.
taking
Now,
your
okay.
best
Now I can
zone
say so. You're basically
defenders
taking somebody out of coverage
and,
and putting them
and
on the rush.
and hoping that they're going to find a miraculous hole to get through? Like if your ends aren't beating tackles off the edge, what do you think your safety and linebackers are going to do? They're not going to beat them off the edge.
Yeah, most likely.
So
Yeah, most likely not.
it's pointless. But
Yeah.
again, in a scenario like the last play of the game, that worked because if again they were supposed to rush four. Post game interview, Bethune tells I don't know if he told Matt Miyoko or he might have told another 49ers interviewer that the call was for him and Winters to blitz. But him and Winters make a executive decision collectively together before the play starts that they're gonna not blitz and they're just gonna float. And the play design on that play was specifically to rush the two middle guys, and then have Gross Matos and Huff play QB contain, and they did this several times throughout the game, but they didn't do it as obvious as they did at this point. And this is what I was mentioning um, as far as with the Carolina game, as far as defensive ends not full rushing, because when you play mobile quarterbacks, you don't want to rush because sometimes rushing gives them an escape. So what you want to do is you want to bracket them in. And so that last play, Huff and Gross Matos are bracketing and just flowing with Caleb. That's
Right.
why
Right.
when
They're trying to
Caleb
contain him in the pocket and let him get out.
right, and that's why when Caleb rotates left, Huff shoots it because the tackle didn't float as wide as Huff went. Because the tackle was expecting like, oh, he must be going into his zone, so let me just chill here. And Huff shoots it, and I don't think if Huff doesn't shoot that when he does, it doesn't force Caleb to rush, and then everybody else to play scatter ball. Because now everybody's scrambling to trying to get open, and you got five or six 49er DBs in coverage, face guarding people. So now Caleb's scrambling back there trying to find somebody to throw to. And what does Gross Matos do? Because again, he's playing the other edge contain, but he's also playing a spy. So he follows Caleb and then he pushes at the last minute and gets I guess you would call that a QB pressure at the last
Yeah.
minute. But that play right there, again, it works in that scenario because your edge rushers, if you're gonna put them in zone, they can play they can play indiscreet zone all while playing quarterback contain and quarterback spy, which is I think that call right there was the call of the game for Salah, and you can kind of see when the game's over and everybody's rejoicing with each other, you can see that you know that was one of those calls to where it's like, okay, Salah, you got stuff in your bag to pull out when you need to call game. And we've seen this countless of times throughout this season. When 49ers backs are against the wall, they by some miracle dig down deep and they can make the plays. I mean, we saw it against the Rams.
Oh yeah.
We saw it countless of times. I can't remember exactly the other teams that they played, but I do remember that Alfred Collins fumble. I remember the Stout fumble.
Well, Alpha
I
Collins
remember
had a
several.
nice little a SWAT in the game versus the Bears.
Yeah, I saw that. It's nice because that's important. I wish more of our tackles did that because they don't get pressure. They don't they don't collapse the pocket. They're not pushing. guards and centers right into the chest of any quarterback. So get those hands up, boys, because they're gonna be throwing the ball.
Well,
But
and one of the things I wanted, I did kind of talk about the contained defensive, and what you're elaborating on kind of is more eloquently way of saying what I was thinking is that you know they know what their weakness is, and it's a running quarterback. The 49ers have had a history of not being able to contain a running quarterback, and they were able to take that away from Caleb. Did they give up 5 touchdowns, and did they like give up a whole bunch of yards? Hell yeah. But to be honest, I think they did a good job in that aspect. And then the last play of the game, getting that pressure right when we needed it, whew, chef's kiss. Good play call, like you said.
but unfortunately, you can't expect the 49ers offense to score 30 points or more every game. Now, granted, that's happened over the course of what, 3 straight weeks now,
Yeah,
maybe even four. I mean, the 30, I mean, 30 for Purdy, that's been going on for almost like 4 straight weeks now. He's been getting, and shout out to Greg Papa, because I get that from Greg Papa. Greg Papa, hope you're doing well. Keep getting better. You're gonna win that battle. But yeah, 30
Shout
for
out, Greg.
Purdy, man. You
Hell
get
yeah.
30 for Purdy, and they they're in good shape. But if they cannot score 4 touchdowns a game, with the defense allowing 38, it's not. I mean, again, tell me a time in that game where Salah needed to get a stop and he got a stop.
Man, he only the last play of the game. That was literally the only time he did it. But you know the
Exactly.
what I've noticed about this defense is they usually they get like one or two like big splash turnover type plays. Like they punch the ball out, interception. Like they're not like it's not a bunch every game, but they usually get one or two. And they usually use that opportunity to get points on the board or put their offense in a position to put points on the board. So I didn't see that this last game. That's the one thing
Nope.
I didn't see. But they did get the big stop at the last play of the game. So, I mean,
I mean, it's only credit to the offense. You can only get that opportunity to get that stop because the 49ers offense scored the drive before.
yeah,
If they don't score, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Meaning that the field goal you allowed the Bears to get would have been the end. So again, I mean, it's a team sport. All three phases have to, work and take up the slack for the opposite or the other phase of the game. But at the same time, man, I mean, how many points? Hold on, I got this in my notes. Let's just go back a few weeks. Let's just go back a few weeks.
I'm taking the time machine. Gonna go back
Okay,
in time.
Titans, 24 points. How much did the Colts score?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was in his 20s. I don't know why I don't have this score on my uh sheet here,
I'm trying to look them up right
but
now. Hold on.
I mean, I got notes from the Colts game, but I do not have the score from that Colts game, which is very weird. But I would almost attest that that's about 20 points. But again, I'm not trying to take away no flavor or no sauce from the 49ers and what that offense has been doing for the last 4 weeks, because it's been cooking, and Kyle has been in his
Oh,
bag. He's
um,
been at,
can I interject if I may for the last 4 games?
go ahead,
Titans
let me
put
know.
up Titans put up 24. Colts put up
Okay,
27. Bears put up 38. We played the Browns
see what
twice
I'm
before
saying?
all of them. They only put up 8 points.
But do you see the trend? Like the Titans, and to reinforce one of my biggest concerns defensively. besides all that I already mentioned, is that the linebackers are really bad in coverage against tight ends. I mean,
Yeah.
just the tight ends are no longer slow. They're fast and they're like hybrid wide receivers. So our linebackers cannot cover these guys
Yeah.
whatsoever. And all these
Loveland.
teams
Loveland was going
are
off.
they know this. Titans tight end scored on a long pass. The Browns before that scored a touchdown on a tight end pass. The Bears scored a touchdown on a tight end pass. The
Two.
Colts even
I
tried
think they
it,
had two.
but it didn't work. And so I mean, even what's his name? Gifford, the third linebacker who plays on base downs for the 49ers, he got beat on a wheel route by the tight end. Teams are trying to schematically get the 49ers linebackers by way of zone or man coverage into these one-on-ones against their athletic tight ends, and they're winning. These are almost like guaranteed big chunk plays. And it's part of every offense's bag that's going against the 49ers. They're literally dialing these things up. They're specifically trying to get them into these positions. And again, I just recounted 4 or 5 games where those were either big plays or if not touchdowns.
I'm with
It's a
you.
big problem.
I've been seeing it
It's a big problem.
every game too. You
So
know.
again, if Kyle's not in his bag, if Purdy's not in his bag, I mean, good. Purdy threw another interception in the game. Let's just act like, let's not forget that that didn't happen.
First play of the game
You know
too.
that. I mean,
Okay,
no,
so it hit his receiver and it bounced off of him, and there was just another defensive person right there to pick it off. Again, it goes against him on it's gonna be on his record. He got the interception, but I just felt like he played a pretty good game after that.
he threw another one in the game, but it just didn't
Oh
count
yeah,
because
no,
there was
no,
a penalty.
that was a. I was talking about just his last game, but yeah, you're right. He did the game before.
No, no, I'm talking about the Chicago Bears game. He threw an interception in the game, but it didn't count because there was a penalty. This happened in the third, if I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
mistaken, third or
yeah,
fourth
yeah.
quarter.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
So,
the holding against the defense.
yeah, so again, there's some things I see in Purdy that I like. I'm not hating. He is executing the offense flawlessly. He's got control to make audibles and switch the play at the line. That's how he's able to get that read option. Second running touchdown is he canned the play. He saw something that he liked. He's really perceptive of what he sees, but also that can be his Achilles heel because first play of the game, the guy was waiting on that. He bit the route. He saw it. That's the whole reason why it got tipped up. I mean, if I'm Purdy, you got to see that, man.
Yeah.
You have to see that. You have to see the way he's leaning, the way he's positioning. I can't throw that. But again, Purdy this season has been making those throws all year. And I would say probably like 80-20 it's been benefiting him. But still, 20% of it not benefiting him is is worrisome to me. Look at that pass he threw to uh what's our fourth wide receiver's name? Not Kendrick Bourne, but number 5. Yeah,
Cam
Demarcus
Wright.
Robinson. The one Demarcus Robinson
Oh, Demarcus.
caught
Yeah, yeah.
at the one. That was a 50-50 ball. I mean, I'm pretty sure if the corner or whoever was guarding him, if he saw that pass that Brock Purdy threw,
Yeah,
Brock Purdy threw to him, I'm
Brody.
pretty sure he would have went up to catch it. But again, Demarcus Robinson is the only one that sees the ball, and so he, of course, he gets first dibs on it in the air. But again, Purdy be throwing those balls to where I don't know, man. It's almost anybody's game,
Well,
and
I mean,
and
he is a gunslinger, but I hear you 100%, dude. He's sometimes like there was a couple throws he did that last game that I was like, oh, and then our receivers got it,
yep,
and I was like, whew. But
yeah. See, as a fan, do you want to be like that every pass play?
no, not really. But I mean, when you're looking at the league and the other options, I feel like the Niners could be in a worse
There's
spot. I feel like we overpaid for our quarterback. I'm sorry. I'm
absolute.
always gonna feel that much when like dude's making 100 millions or 200 million, whatever. But it's if we can get the production that we're getting out of him, then I think then it kind of validates the contract until we see it not validate the contract at this
It's
point.
a fine line, is all I'm saying. It's one of those delicate situations to where it's like, yeah, it's working, but again, there's so many things that have to go right that he's not in control of in order
Right?
for it to work. And that's been my biggest thing with trying to shine the light on Brock Purdy. It's not that I'm hating. It's not that I'm trying to like
Oh, I never felt like you're
uh
hating either.
put him down. No, but like to anybody else who could be hearing this right now,
Sure.
who I've talked to over the years about Brock Purdy, and they, would coin me as a hater or somebody that's not s- not appreciating what's happening. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it. But at the same time, it's not all Brock Purdy. Whereas in most quarterbacks, it's been mostly them. It had to be them.
Yeah.
It
I
had to be
think this
them to
year
get their wide receivers on
specifically
the
it's a
right
lot more
page.
of Brock Purdy though. A lot like I see him using his legs a lot more, and he's been making some pretty deep passes for
He has to do that.
yeah.
He has to do that because he can't pass. If he can't pass, he has to run. Just think about any other quarterback who wished that they could run. They would do the same thing too.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's almost like
Well, with our
it's
offensive
almost like
line too, bro, like you kind of have to run because that pocket that it's not holding up for very long.
nah, you got monsters on defensive lines, man. And our offensive line is more agile, not strength. Trent
Yeah.
Williams is the only strength on the line,
And he was
and
out
maybe
all game
Pooney,
last game.
and maybe but Pooney, gets beat technique wise.
Yeah.
So that's
And with
kind of. But
McKivitz too.
Colt, Colton's been locking shit down a lot lately. I've been really proud of him.
Yeah.
Out of everybody on the offensive line,
He's
I
showing a
feel
lot of
like
improvement since last year.
I'm glad they gave him his money at the beginning of the season because that's reinforced his confidence and him, knowing that they believe in him, and he's been the most consistent offensive lineman all season. Like, I mean, you don't you don't see pressure coming off the right side. I've seen pressure come off the left more than I've seen off the right.
Yeah.
And but again, not to get too distracted. Like I respect Purdy, for his commitment and his strengths, because his strengths is, his processing, his decoding of
Oh yeah.
information in real
His
time.
reads,
But
dude. He's
again,
reading
if it
the
wasn't
receivers.
for the backing of this, the play is the cushion. The play is the safety net. The play is the binky. All he has to do is do his job in the play. But if he does anything else and tries to, you know, do something that he's trying to create besides running with his feet, it's not gonna. I mean, it's like 50-50. I mean, the juice play in the end zone only worked because the linebackers both chose to take him thinking that he was gonna run. If one of those linebackers stay, what do you think is gonna happen? He has to juke one of the linebackers. Do you think he's
Yeah.
juking one of the linebackers?
Well, but see, then again, like he had already ran for two touchdowns at that point, so it kind of set up for the linebackers to like,
To crash, right?
yeah,
Exactly. So but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much stuff that happens that's not in his control that helps him be great.
yeah,
Whereas with most quarterbacks who are great, they have to be great without all those other things.
yeah.
I mean, just look
Like
at
every
Eli
quarterback
Manning.
will take advantage of good play calling and good scheme though. I don't think anybody's gonna
But
turn that down and be like,
here,
nah, I'm good.
Eli Manning, Super Bowl, greatest play we've ever seen in our life.
Yeah,
He is under pressure, and he still puts that ball exactly where it needs to be for Tyree to get his hands and helmet on it.
yeah,
That is being great. I mean, he couldn't be off a yard with that pass.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
I agree.
Eli Manning,
I don't disagree.
NFC
Like he's a
Championship
good he's a great
at
one
Candlestick.
for beating the Patriots
Eli
twice and that
Manning,
for making that play for specifically.
Eli Manning, NFC Championship, Candlestick.
Nah,
How many times was he pressured by Justin Smith and all those boys
the
on
shit
that
still didn't line
monstrous
up though.
defensive line? And how many times did he make countless throws when he needed to put that ball on a dime?
Yeah, he
That's
was
what I'm
hitting
talking
what's
about.
his
There's a
name
difference.
Manningham.
There's a there's a difference between the plays making you great and you being great. And that's the only thing I've been only trying to stress with
Sure.
Brock Purdy. I need people to see the difference. There's a huge difference. I mean, yes, he does certain things good, but my golly, it's the beautiful safety net binky play calling of Kyle Shanahan. Kyle is not gonna throw Purdy to the wolves. He's not going to make Purdy do something that he knows is part of his weakness. So he's going to sculpt plays to safety net him. And to go back to the Chicago game, I saw countless of times where there's either Juice, CMC, or another tight end back there to help block during these pass plays.
Yeah.
So if if there's a wide receiver that's open on these pass plays where there's only three options because you keeping an extra guy to block. There's only three options and they're wide open. That means it's the play design. It's not Purdy. Purdy just
Yeah.
got to do his job like every other quarterback and throw the ball. So I need people to see the difference. Yes, it looks great
Well,
and it looks like he's doing all the sauce, but again, if you take away those other elements, and we've seen it, Purdy has thrown multiple interceptions in a game this season.
right.
And I don't know if it's happened
And
twice, but
that
I've
could
definitely seen it happen once.
it looked like that game specifically he looked a little hurt still, and then he was out for a couple games after it. But I will concede that yeah he has been a multiple interception guy almost his whole career, but it's been inconsistent. It's been like every once in a while he'll do something like that. So I feel like if he can continue to play at a high level, get the ball in these tight windows, and run and scramble and get yards when the play starts to break down, if he can continue to do that and that leads the team to a Super Bowl, then kudos, it's worth every dollar. But until I see that, then I'm not really about um, I'm not about glossing or glazing at fucking Purdy. He's good. He's good. He's better than Garoppolo. He's better than Mac Jones. That doesn't say he's like a
I,
great one. Just means he's better than
yeah,
them.
nah, he gets the job done and he fits the system. I mean, I feel like if every quarterback that was ever drafted could be in their perfect fit system, we would see plenty of Brock Purdy's, if
Yeah.
not better than Brock Purdy's. Again, the confidence of your play caller and your coordinators help a lot with a quarterback success, and it also takes a lot of the weight off their shoulders. And so we've seen what happens when the play calling doesn't work out in their favor in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And what Brock Purdy did we see then? I'm pretty sure he threw an interception in that Super Bowl, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
So again,
Why you gotta open those
when I
ears,
say
bro?
when I say what I say, there's legitimate reason
Gotta
that's
get hyped
not,
for this
you
game tomorrow,
know,
bro.
not shadowed in hate and fear of me being wrong about Brock Purdy. It's just that I need people to see the difference. There's a huge difference. And speaking of getting hyped for tomorrow's game, you wanna lead us into the preview of tomorrow's matchup? How do you see
Absolutely.
these two teams comparing to each other after everything we've just said?
Well, in the division, they're pretty much tied, but this is the game that would be the tiebreaker. And it's literally winner takes all for Seattle or for the 49ers. If Seattle wins, they take first place and they get home field advantage for the rest of the playoffs. If San Francisco wins, they get home field advantage for the rest of the playoffs. We have a high powered offense that's been hitting on all cylinders for the last couple games, really spreading the ball around, really getting the ball into everybody's hands. Run game looks better than it has all year. pass game is looking better every every other game. Um, Defense has been a big problem, and I think from what I've seen, Seattle versus Panthers, I think the 49ers have a good chance to maybe get an early lead and then just maintain that lead for the rest of the game. And they can, I think they can go tick for tack, 49ers offense with the Seattle defense, getting points on each drive, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. We see a lot of mistakes from our dude, Mr. Sam Darnold, out there in Seattle, especially that first half. He had a lot of mistakes. He had the fumble. He had a couple interceptions. Niners, if they get interceptions, if they get turnovers, they are going to take advantage of it and they're going to put points on the board. So I'll be looking forward to the 49ers playing their brand of defense, trying to make big plays, containing the big plays from not happening, trying to make Sam Darnold uncomfortable in the pocket and getting the ball out of his hands and possibly making a mistake. Um, but yeah, that's how I see the 49ers winning tomorrow. How about you?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. If you rewind to week one, it was a close game. Again, it was the beginning. I know you remember when I text you at the end of that game. It was the
Yeah.
beginning of seeing the 49ers defense come up with clutch stops at the end of a game when they really needed it.
Oh yeah.
And it further adds to my evidence that Salah, he's a sneaky coordinator. And what I mean by sneaky is he is so in tune with his weaknesses as a play caller that he utilizes that to his strengths. And what I mean by that is that when he knows that certain play calls don't work and he's built a tendency of calling those plays right when an offense expects one of those plays, he doesn't do it. And that's happened countless of times this season where I'm recognizing a tendency of him blitzing on third down or um, sending a particular corner blitz several times. And then the very last time when that scenario comes up, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. And those have been the times where it's benefited the San Francisco's defense and allowed them to get those clutch stops, whether it be third down or fourth down. We've seen them make several fourth down stops throughout the season as well. So I'm really confident in the coaching matchup of this game. Let's just take the players, put them on the sideline for a second. Let's just talk about coaches. I feel like in unison, Kyle and Salah are are playing off of each other, meaning that Salah will have Kyle's back when needed, and Kyle will have Salah's back when needed. And it happens almost absolutely when it has to happen in these games. And I feel like Seattle's head coach is still they're trying to find themselves. Now, granted, Seattle has 13 wins this season. It's a lot of wins.
Mm-hmm.
But their wins are, I feel like a lot of their wins come from, you know, easy points. Easy points gained off of turnovers and short fields. So if you don't give them turnovers and short fields so that way it doesn't take them long to score, you're in good shape. And as long as you stop Jigba from getting behind you in the passing game, you're in good shape. Darnold's gonna give you one. Darnold is still a bit nervous. At times when he could take off and run, he still is looking to pass. So I don't know if that's a strength or a possible weakness of his. and if the
Well,
defense can capitalize off of those scenarios,
we'd have to look at that same performance in the goggles we're looking at Purdy though, right? He does benefit from having a good offense around him. He does have JSN. He does have Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, and he has AJ Barner as a catching tight end. Like he has a pretty good amount of weapons around him. So in comparison, I would say yeah, there's a lot of critique that you can give Sam Darnold. I think he has
yeah,
weapons around him, and to be that inconsistent, to make that many mistakes, and still have that many wins, kind of says something about their defense.
exactly. And I'd be the first to not credit the success of the Seattle Seahawks team to Sam Darnold. He's just been doing his job, but
Pretty much.
it hasn't been great. There's so many games this season that I've seen Seattle score 30 plus points, but either their defense got a touchdown off of a, pick
Hmm.
six or fumble recovery for a touchdown, or again, they have a short field and they're already on the other side of the 50. So
Or how about JSN
again,
having
like
a big play? How many times has he
s-
gotten open downfield and just ran for a touchdown?
over 100 receptions and over 1,500 yards receiving.
There you go.
Like he leads the league in receiving yards and receptions, if I'm not mistaken. He's having a killer year. Yeah, Darnold has been throwing to him, but again, play design
Yeah.
and scheme. So, and when you couple
When he's
that with
open.
a two-headed monster running, play action is Darnold's. It's his strength. Play action, rolling out.
Yeah.
That's how Darnold makes his money. But if you keep him in the pocket and he can't extend the play and he's forced to make a decision. If the play doesn't give him an out immediately, he's going to get that sack fumble that happens at the end of the game during their first matchup. So, again, I'm really confident in the San Francisco 49ers red zone defense, and I'm confident as to say at minimum, a worst case scenario, there's only one turnover by Brock Purdy, but case scenario, they don't turn the ball over at all, and it's a San Francisco 49ers victory. But
There we go.
nothing about the Seattle team really gives me much worry. I know Charbonnet is going to get his. 49ers struggle with one cutbacks all year. Any back that just takes a one cut and moves upfield, they struggle because they over pursue and they miss tackles. But as far as like busting a 60-yard, 70-yard run, that's not happening. He might get 20 here and there, but it won't be nothing that's gonna be super significant. I also don't see them leaning heavily on the run. I feel like they're going to try to pass, and that's going to, benefit on the San Francisco 49ers side because Darnold might give them one
Yep. He's
also.
going to make a mistake. We've seen it in the first half
Exactly.
versus the Panthers. And the 49ers, like I said, their defense is make big plays, bend but don't break. Give
Well
it,
coached.
give up a bunch of yards underneath, and let the offense win the game. So,
Couple games this year, they've allowed almost 400 plus
hmm
at San Francisco defense, but I believe in, if not all those games, they won.
yeah.
I could be wrong though.
Well, the 49ers, also, if I'm not mistaken, they have 12 wins. I'm sorry, they have 12 wins right now. Just need one
Oh,
more.
Seattle.
If they get one more
Yeah.
against Seattle, it'll be 13. So anyway, let's wrap this up. We're coming up on 1 hour right now. Um,
Very
any
nice.
last words, Maine? Go Niners! Go Niners!
Go Niners, of course, and you enjoy
I
your
won't buy you
day
a Brock
tomorrow.
Purdy
Happy New
jersey,
Year to
but okie doke.
everybody. Hope everybody has a new and bright, successful year, ready to grind and get what you deserve, 'cause it's coming.
Don't. Right on, bro. Peace. We out.